The life of Hannah Mills. There are so many different people that have shaped who I am. My family has been the biggest factor in my life. They've sculpted me into the woman I am today. I have a wonderful life full of memories and laughter. There are fun times to remember, ones that are full of goofiness and acting like you're 10 again. But what role did my family play? The most important part. A group of people that make experiences fun and silly and help you through the most serious of times. My mom is the most important part of my life and best friend. She's given me a lot of influence in my life. But I didn't want to focus on just her. I'd rather focus on different views. The men in my life are super important. My brothers have given me an aspect of toughness, love of sports, and my drive to become the best I can be. And my father, the most inspirational man I've ever met. When it comes to my brothers, I love them for their differences. Andrew, quiet and endearing. Zach, the loud and outgoing one, that tends to be a little rough around the edges, and doesn't hesitate to be too honest. But when adding in my sister-in-law threw us for a turn, she added an adventure and a little more laughter. A laughter that seemed to light up the whole world. Where there brings family, there also brings friends. The peers that I have added for great times, ones that involved much play and have been there from the beginning. They have given me the support to keep up my dancing, helping me be giving me a goofy outlook on life and aiding to laughter that is always there for me at the end of the day. The beginning of my first few years of life leaned toward the views of the 8 stages of Erikson theory, beginning with the thoughts of mistrust and trust. I would say that I came out on the positive side of this. I could always depend on my family to be there whenever I demanded their attention. Wanting all the attention myself, well, I was an attention seeker little girl. I seemed to have all the family intrigued with being the only girl in the family. My father, he seemed to keep my brothers always there for me. Zach and Andrew always longed to hold me, so attention really played a big part of the beginning of my life. And trust was always a big part too. Although I was cute, little, and sweet, I was the most adventurous in my family. I had already begun to break arms and climbing onto things and jumping off things. This part of my childhood also veered into the Montessori's ideas of independency. I also seemed to have a big part in the sensory motor stages of Piaget's theory of cognitive development. I would always love to touch everything and put everything and anything in my mouth. It seemed to be my outreach for adventure as a child. Adventure by playing with fires, sledding, and competing to wrestle with boys, even dressing up and playing war. I did it all. Bronfenbrenner's microsystem hit me with the idea of peers from the very beginning. They gave me a sense of playful joy that was added into my life, with no longer family members, but rather strange people that offered for new opinions and other interests that came. The friends that I gave for a new interest in dance, swimming, and I loved all the new interests that were offered to me. When I moved to Holland, the macro system began to show some appearances. Seeing the wooden shoes, the immense amounts of tulips that seemed to overwhelm the country, and all the traditions that seemed to become incorporated into our life. My cultural views in the microsystem started to expand. I really learned to open up to the cultural views and be able to learn the new customs of different cultures. Going to new schools and learning the language became a new experience for me. This theory really displays my new adventure for new cultures and acceptance of how different they are from such usual American ones. My community of dance and friends began to grow immensely as I continued in the elementary and middle school life. Dewey's outlook of community seems to fit my life during this time. Through soccer and dance, I grew a new developmental community that aided to new friends and new opinions in daily life. I was given the opportunity to build strong community in Miss Ray Ann's dance studio when I took ballet, tap, jazz, and tumbling classes. I also became a huge fan of the planned birthday parties with themes and making sure I always made time for friends. I would make time to play with them, sign up for dance camps, and start to play sports. Sports consisted of softball, basketball, and volleyball. Being adventurous with building this community at home, I also branched out to other organizations. I built a community of friends with my church camp, and they also defined who I was in middle school. These communities continue to stick with me to this day. High school brought for another transitional period in Erikson's stages. Early adolescence and adulthood started to take its shape in my life. Obviously knew I was goofy, but confusion of who I wanted to be or who to grow into was quite a struggle for me. I liked so many different things and experienced so many different experiences that I just didn't always have an understanding of who I wanted to be. I think the different options at times confused me. I was in musicals and did dance team and I made sure that I could experience everything so I knew that I didn't leave anything out. I also think that relationships and the adolescence part played a big role in my life. The theory talks about intimacy and isolation. At times, relationship with friends, and of course boys, started to begin. Dance and many other simple interactions occurred in my day. These strange interactions added for commitments and newfound meanings of the words of love. Isolation also became a big part of my life in high school. Some of my views didn't exactly match the views of others at times, so movies and spending time with family became another large part of my life. Overall, these views of adolescence added for a new experience within my life, and I really learned so much. Overall, I've been blessed with such a great developmental life experience. I've experienced times with my sister who entered my life really late but opened me up to a whole new world of fun and laughter that I've never experienced. I've also been given the chance to meet amazing people. I joined dance team and have bonded with those girls on a whole new level. It also has allowed me the chance to continue my dancing and become a happier girl here at school, giving me the chance to continue to do things that I love. I've also been blessed to make sisters here in a sorority on campus. They have given me the opportunity to experience serious relationships that form a sisterhood for life. I could not imagine my life without them and hope I never have to. Given this opportunity, I still make sure that my mom, my best friend, remains a big part. She is my rock, and all her opinions still remain the focus of my life. But I've talked too much about myself, and I think it's time that I go. Thanks so much for listening to some of my life and the developmental theory that has caused me to be me today.